Okay, we are back, and obviously Saturday night, keeping this train going of doing these little wrap-up videos each night. A lot less stuff on the bed to discuss. We had a day filled with things that we needed to cover, and honestly most of them were press appointments, so we'll talk about that because that really changes things in terms of being able to access different events and things like that. And so we'll get to that as we go, but we'll kind of maybe just keep in chronological order there. So for the most part, started the day over at Petco where they were doing the Walking Dead Walker Horde, a bunch of Walking Dead fans getting together to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the show, as well as the trailer that's come out for the new season. And so it's fun by participating in that, get a t-shirt, so nothing, too crazy outstanding, but it's got the date and stuff. I always like things that kind of commemorate things. A lot of times we'll just put them to the side, maybe frame them someday, things like that. I don't know if this one will make a framing, but that has been the case with some things of that nature. Then we headed up to Super7, the peanut store. They had a line. I believe people were saying it was taking about 20 minutes at the time that we went up there to get in, so not too terrible. That said, again, full disclosure, we had a press appointment there, so we didn't have to wait that 20 minutes, so we were able to walk right in. Did some video, photos, things like that. Did pick up a few of the figures. These are $15 each for this style, and then this one is a $20 version. I really love the retro stuff they do there, and real sucker for Peanuts, and so the Charlie Brown collection of characters there was very tempting, so picked up a few of those things. And then we made our way to the Petco Interactive Zone. That has become such a hodgepodge of things over the years. It really feels like that used to be a highlight area for us, and now it feels kind of just like this, I don't know, this weird kind of swap meet, kind of parking lot carnival type thing. That said, Ripley's, believe it or not, fits perfectly in that atmosphere. It has this kind of weird, kind of carny type vibe to it, and I love stuff like this, where it's kind of like in the world type giveaway items. I mean, very simple little things, but it just kind of gives info about the stuff that was on exhibit there, give you a little bit of background. They have this scratch card that you could win stuff with. Just gonna keep those away. Then we headed over to FX, and that had a pretty lengthy line outside, but once you got inside and got registered, really cool activations there. So first up, over at American Horror Story, they had, for the new season, 1984, of what they're doing with it, a really cool immersive kind of haunt experience. It's put on by JFI Productions. It does Creep LA. We're huge fans of their work, that, The Willows, things like that. You got a bumper sticker on the way out, but the big thing there was just very, very cool haunt experience. It was like a little bit of a slice of Creep LA, but because it is so interactive, obviously capacity is an issue. It's a pretty slow go getting people in there, but once you're in, very interactive, better than most haunt experiences in terms of how they pull it off. Then there was a little stand where they would make a hat with different, you could customize it, so they had Archer, we got What We Do in the Shadows, other options there as well, Mayans, stuff like that, Always Sunny. Across the way from there in the Bayfront, also FX, but not in the kind of main area. So across the way, so as a result, it had less of a line. But What We Do in the Shadows, one of my favorite, I think, offsites I've done is you basically entered the vampire's lair, and you just kind of could hang out in there, sit on the couch, take pictures. We saw a 5-minute magic trick unfold with lots of comedy in between it, and it really was like being in the TV show What We Do in the Shadows, which is a fun, it's a great movie, and now it's a great TV show on FX, but as a result, again, a really slow go if you're on the outside of the building, because they can only let so many people in at a time, and there's no rush to get people out. So really well done, but another one that requires some time, but I do think it's my favorite offsite of the year. At least as of now. I don't know that that's going to really change Sunday, because I don't even know if we'll be able to hit any offsites tomorrow. So kudos to them. But again, interactive. We're seeing more and more of that every year, of these really cool, highly interactive experiences that are fantastic but require huge wait times. And the most common question we get, I feel like, with offsites is, is it worth it? And there's just no way to ever answer that, because it just depends how much you're into the property being advertised and the amount of time it's going to take and what else you would do at that time, you know. So if I don't have a badge for a Saturday and I'm going to spend 3 hours in line for Amazon and I'm going to be able to do all these different things, maybe that's very well worth it, versus, well, now, you know, I had a badge and I'm losing time on the floor, or I'm losing time in panel room. So I think it really does depend greatly, and I don't feel like we can ever really answer that question. But to talk about the entertainment itself, a really good job there with both the American Horror Stories and What We Do in the Shadows, and just FX as a whole was really impressive. I think definitely definitely by far my favorite year for them, and we've heard a lot of that on social media as well. Over at the DC/WB booth, definitely doesn't have enough DC for my liking. It really feels weird with it being over there with WB, because it just feels like a WB booth and not as much a DC booth, to me at least. I miss kind of the old costume setup and things like that when they were over by the Marvel booth in years past. But they've been trying to push DC Universe, and they've been doing a print a day, and so we picked up our Titans print, which we've enjoyed that show, and it was nice to see that as a giveaway there. I was surprised at the DC Universe panel in the evening. They gave no swag at all, so it's nice that we got this, but I was surprised they didn't do something for the panel. And then in the lottery, I won my signing for Batwoman. Ruby Rose, we learned she was not going to be there. She had to go back and film up in Canada, but supposedly she signed all these posters and then mailed them out there. So I'll go ahead and believe that, because I feel better about the poster. But very quick signing, very smooth at the WB booth. I was really impressed with how quickly they get the wristbands out there. I've heard it's the opposite over at Fox. A lot of complaints about Fox just kind of giving them out in a really limited time frame that's costing people time on the floor, versus WB that's opening up at like 6:30 in the morning and getting you in and out of there in 2-3 minutes. So kudos to them for that. And then hit up Conan, and the last day was Conan as Woody, so picked up one of those. Really love Conan's presence at Comic-Con. I don't think we went the first year, but we've gone the years since, and it just feels like it adds so much to the whole convention in terms of options. You know, it's another option to be able to see these celebrities, to see a funny show, to get off the streets and do something really fun, and then you end it with a really cool piece of swag. It's kind of like the perfect package of entertainment. But obviously, there's, you know, hassles with, or problems with any of these things, of having to pick up your tickets earlier in the day and all of that. So it's not like anything's easy when you have, you know, what really feels like hundreds of thousands of fans at San Diego Comic-Con, both inside and outside. You know, not just the paid attendees, but those just that are out in the gas lamp and about doing various things, because most offsites don't require badges, and you've got all of them kind of mixed in, particularly on a day like today, Saturday. So that kind of gives a vibe, I guess, of what we did today and kind of where we were at. Spent very little time on the actual floor, which is really strange for us. Carmel didn't even get on the show floor at all today, and I was on the show floor for maybe an hour and a half, so definitely a strange way to spend a day at San Diego Comic-Con for us, but it was the tale of our Saturday. So with that said, when we come back tomorrow, I don't know, I really haven't fully thought this out yet. We're doing these kind of nightly wrap-ups, but we'll definitely be doing kind of the overall wrap-up and kind of looking forward to 2020 and seeing kind of what things we think about planning and kind of where we're at with our notes for next year's tips and guides and all that stuff. So wrapping up Saturday for Comic-Con 2019. Until next time, we'll see you in line at Comic-Con.